Hello everyone, I am Yuktika Mishra and welcome to our platform ViaSocket. We are the other halves of the webhook that is Socket. Let us log into our account. Let's look at the client ID. So here is our client ID. Let us dive into EBL. So to create a new project, just type the name of your project and click on the create button. I already have my project created, so I am opening that. Now endpoints. You can send data to endpoints. In logs, you can find the activity log as completed, failed or intermediate logs. Flows are collection of functions to implement some business logics. Functions are API or script to perform any operations. Variables can be created and used throughout the project to store values. How will the scopes be used? Scopes will be used to perform CURD operations. We have user-specific scenarios. For instance, one of our users wants to fetch and update their Google contact list, and another client uses spreadsheet to add and fetch the data to further apply business logic. How will the Gmail scopes be used? Socket is a platform that allows users to use Gmail APIs in a friendly manner, which means that the scope of every Gmail API that we use is unlimited or as defined by Gmail and depends on the user. For example, a user can use /auth/gmail.compose to create and send a new mail from their authorized Gmail account directly from Socket. In essence, Socket doesn't use the Gmail APIs for any internal purpose, nor do we integrate the Gmail APIs in our own application. We simply allow our users to integrate Gmail APIs in their own apps via our platform after Gmail authorization according to their use cases. Since all use cases are dependent on how our users consume Gmail APIs, limited scopes won't be sufficient for Socket. List of all the OAuth clients that we are using are Drive API, Google People API, Google Sheets API, Google Calendar API, Gmail API, Google API, URL Shortener API. Go to Functions and create APIs. Let's create a Gmail API. Client ID, let's create a Drive API. Create a Calendar API. Let's create People API. Let us create Google Sheets API. Now we are creating another Gmail API. Gmail.send. Now that we have added all our APIs, let's move forward to flows. Let's see how to create a flow. Click the plus icon. Give your flow a name. I am creating a test flow. Now we can import all our APIs and scripts in our flow. Click on the import function. For the test flow, I am importing the Google Sheet API. We can also implement our logics using the if and loop options available. This Google Sheet API will post some data on this given spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is here. So let's now create an endpoint and invoke our flow. Click on add endpoint. I am again naming it as test endpoint. Click on create. Let's connect this endpoint to the flow. Our flow name was test flow. Now this endpoint is connected to this flow. We can copy the endpoint URL and invoke it. The response of our flow is true. That means the flow is invoked. Let's check the Google spreadsheet. So here we can see our entry. With the same procedure, I have created some sample flows covering sample use cases. So let's look at few flows. So this is a sheet email flow. We will post some data to this flow, and then that data will be entered in the Google Sheet. We will extract the mail ID from the flow and send an email to it. So first let's copy the endpoint. So here I've already entered the body of which data I want to send. This is the endpoint and the request is post. Hitman is a tool like Postman to hit APIs, test APIs, etc. So our flow is invoked. Now let's look at the data entered and let's look at the mail. So here is the mail. So this could be one of the use cases of our clients. Now let's look at some other flow. So we have created another sample flow with a calendar API, calendar and mail APIs. So for the sample use case, we are fetching a calendar to send the reminder for a scheduled event to the clients. So this is the flow which is connected to an endpoint with the same procedure that we have seen earlier. We'll just copy the endpoint and we'll hit the URL. Let's look at the mail. So here we have received the mail. For the sample use case of People API, we are fetching the birth date and sending the birthday wish mail. So let's look at the People API flow. Now this is the flow. This is connected to an endpoint. Let's copy the URL. Here we have received the mail. Similarly, Drive API can be used to fetch some data of a Drive files and then make some changes in the sheet of files, etc. This could be a potential use case of Drive API. These are the few use cases that we tried to cover and show the functioning of the app, but actually there can be n number of cases as per our needs and requirements of our clients. As you saw, ViaSocket does not keep any data. It all depends on the use cases of our clients. Thank you.